Good morning and welcome back for another classic read aloud. Today we're going to do an excerpt from Little Men by Louisa May Alcott. If you're familiar with the Little Women story, one of the main characters is Jo, the second oldest sister, and this book is about some boys that Jo takes care of. Chapter 1. Nat. Please, sir, is this Plumfield? Asked a ragged boy of the man who opened the great gate at which the omnibus left him. Yes, who sent you? Mr. Lawrence, I have got a letter for the lady. All right, go up to the house and give it to her. She'll see to you, little chap. The man spoke pleasantly, and the boy went on, feeling much cheered by the words. Through the soft spring rain that fell on sprouting grass and budding trees, Nat saw a large square porch house before him. A hospitable-looking house with an old-fashioned porch, wide steps, and lights shining in many windows. Neither curtains nor shutters hid the cheerful glimmer, and pausing a moment before he rang, Nat saw how many little shadows dancing on the walls, heard the pleasant hum of young voices, and felt that it was hardly possible that the light and warmth and comfort within could be for a homeless little chap like him. I hope the lady will see to me, he thought, and gave a timid rap with a great bronze knocker, which was a jovial griffin's head. A rosy-faced servant-maid opened the door, and smiled as she took the letter which he silently offered. She seemed used to receiving strange boys, for she pointed to a seat in the hall and said with a nod, Sit there and drip on the mat a bit, while I take this in to Missus. Nat found plenty to amuse himself while he waited, and stared about him curiously, enjoying the view, yet glad to do so unobserved in the dusky recess by the door. The house seemed swarming with boys, who were beguiling the rainy twilight with all sorts of amusements. There were boys everywhere, upstairs and downstairs, and in the ladies' chamber, apparently. For various open doors showed pleasant groups of big boys, little boys, and middle-sized boys in all stages of evening relaxation, not to say effervescence. 2 large rooms on the right were evidently schoolrooms, for desks, maps, blackboards, and books were scattered about. An open fire burned on the hearth, and several indolent lads lay on their backs before it, discussing a new cricket ground, with such animation that their boots waved in the air. A tall youth was practicing on the flute in one corner, quite undisturbed by the racket all about him. 2 or 3 others were jumping all over the desks, pausing now and then, to get their breath and laugh at the droll sketches of a little wag who was caricaturing the whole household on a blackboard. In the room on the left, a long supper table was seen, set forth with great pitchers of new milk, piles of brown and white bread, and perfect stacks of the shiny gingerbread so dear to boyish souls. The flavor of toast was in the air, also suggestions of baked apples, very tantalizing to one hungry little nose and stomach. The hall, however, presented the most inviting prospect of all, for a brisk game of tag was going on in the upper entry. One landing was devoted to marbles, the other to checkers, while the stairs were occupied by a boy reading, a girl singing a lullaby to her doll, 2 puppies, a kitten, and a constant succession of small boys sliding down the banisters, to the great detriment of their clothes and danger to their limbs. So absorbed did Nat become in this exciting race that he ventured further and further out of his corner. And when one very lively boy came down so swiftly that he could not stop himself, but fell off the banisters, with a crash that would have broken any head, but one rendered nearly as hard as a cannonball by 11 years of constant bumping, Nat forgot himself and ran up to the fallen rider, expecting to find him half dead. The boy, however, only winked rapidly for a second, then lay calmly looking at the new face with a surprised, "Hello." "Hello," returned Nat, not knowing what else to say, and thinking that form of reply both brief and easy. "Are you a new boy?" asked the recumbent youth, without stirring. "Don't know yet." "What's your name?" "Nat Blake." "Mine's Tommy Bangs. Come up and have a go, will you?" And Tommy got upon his legs like one suddenly remembering the duties of hospitality. "Guess I won't, till I see whether I'm going to stay or not," returns Nat, feeling the desire to stay increase every moment. I say, Debbie, here's a new one. Come and see to him. And the lively Thomas returned to his sport with unabated relish. At his call, the boy reading on the stairs looked up with a pair of big brown eyes, and after an instant's pause, as if a little shy, he put the book under his arm and came soberly down to greet the newcomer, who found something very attractive in the pleasant face of this slender, mild-eyed boy. Have you seen Aunt Jo? He asked, as if that was some sort of important ceremony. I haven't seen anybody yet but you boys. I'm waiting, answered Nat. Did Uncle Laurie send you? Proceeded Demi, politely but gravely. Mr. Lawrence did. He's Uncle Laurie, and he always sends nice boys. Nat looked gratified at the remark and smiled in a way that made his thin face very pleasant. He did not know what to say next, so the two stood staring at one another in friendly silence till the little girl came up with her doll in her arms. She was very like Demi, only not so tall, and had a rounder, rosier face and blue eyes. This is my sister Daisy, announced Demi, as if presenting a rare and precious creature. The children nodded to one another, and the little girl's face dimpled with pleasure as she said affably, I hope you'll stay. We have such good times here, don't we, Demi? Of course we do. That's what Aunt Jo has Plumfield for. Seems a very nice place indeed, observed Nat, feeling that he must respond to these amiable young persons. It's the nicest place in the world, isn't it, Demi? Said Daisy, who evidently regarded her brother as authority on all subjects. That is all for today. If you want to find out what happens to Nat and whether he gets to stay at Plumfield, visit Gutenberg.org.